that somebody might say, I want to go get a toke. Why do you want to toke marijuana? Because I'm going to feel better. Well, I want to go have a drink tonight. Why? Because I'm going to feel better. I want to go meet the love of my life. Why? Because I want to feel better. And a lot of this month's work, a lot of this month and the next few months of working with me is going to be about how do I feel better right now? And when you understand manifestation, when you start to feel better right now as you are, then those other things will start to happen. Again, I'm going to get to that in a bit. I'm going to get there. Okay, next concept. I have a bunch of concepts written out. Next concept I want you to understand is a thought, the 40 to 60,000 of them we have, create an emotion. And the emotions we have create thoughts. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So if I start thinking, I suck, I suck, I suck, the emotion I have might be, I feel not worthy, I don't feel enough. Then the thought I might have is, oh yeah, my hair's awful. Then the emotion I have is, I don't feel worthy. And the thought I have is, I'm too fat. And it becomes like a cycle. And most of you know that. Thoughts and emotions are cycles. And what comes first is like a chicken or egg. Okay. But the easiest way to break thoughts and emotions, actually not up thoughts. It's 100% easier to break thought and emotion piggybacking through the emotion. And that's a lot of what I'm going to teach you tonight. So before I go any further, I'm going to get you guys, hopefully a pen and paper. I forgot to tell you guys have that. If you have pen and paper, great. If not, you can do tonight's work without pen and paper. I'm going to put up a list of emotions in just a few moments. Y'all are going to look at them, and I want you to write the top 3 emotions that you go to the most, okay? In a second, I'm going to share my screen and show them to you, okay? Now, before I show them to you, I want you to understand something. We have these neuropathways, okay? Dominant emotions. If anyone has seen a 1 or 2 or 3-year-old running around, they have a very thick neuropathway of joy and freedom and love, typically. Then when you see a teenager, I have a teenager, there's other emotions, frustration, annoyance, whatever, right? But we have access to all of them. We have access to all these emotions, okay? By the time you're 10 to, well, not 10, by the time you're about 15 to 20 years old, you have 3 or 4 that are your dominant one. Everybody who's on the call today is over 15 to 20. So when I put up the list, I just want you to write down the top 3 or 4 emotions that you are. If you want to type them into the chat box, feel free to. If you don't, that's cool too. So let me share my screen, and then you will do this exercise. 1 second here. Okay. There we go. That should work. Okay. So on the screen, you can see there's a bunch of emotions. Just glance at it. I'm going to read them slowly. Now, the way this list is set up, you can't, I should show you this. This is the emotional guidance scale by Abraham Hicks. Okay. But the way the screen is set up, I can't show 1 to 22 because it's just typed the way it's typed out. So number 1 is joy, appreciation, empowered, freedom, and love. Then I'll read the rest. Okay. And all I want you to do is as you look at these, I read them out loud. I just want you to grab the ones that are your dominant 3 or 4, and please do not judge yourself. Okay. Joy, appreciation, freedom, love, empowerment, passion, enthusiasm, happiness, positive expectation, optimism, hope, contented, bored, pessimistic, frustrated, overwhelmed, disappointment, doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, anger, revenge, rage, jealousy, guilty, unworthy, insecure, fear, grief, depression, despair, powerless. I'll leave it up for a few minutes. I read them really quickly. All I want you to do is glance at them. Just be honest, please, because you're only going to get something out of these classes if you're honest with yourself. What are your main 3 or 4 you go to? Just write them down. If you want to put them in the chat box, feel free to. You don't have to. This is just for yourself. So I'll give you guys 1 or 2 more minutes. Just glance at it. And don't worry, this is on the recording. I'll put the list separate in I want to call it Shobi. It's not Shobi, it's Kajabi, into my website. Take another minute and just write down what your top 3 or 4 are. And please, everybody, do not judge yourself. I'm begging you. All right, I'm going to stop sharing because I think most of you guys are done. Yeah, they're saying stop sharing. Okay, perfect. All right. So hopefully you had a second to write down. Okay, and some people wrote down 14, 11, 7. Good numbers, great. Just the numbers are perfect. And there's nothing right or wrong. So if that person had written down 22, 20, and 18, that wouldn't be right or wrong, okay? It's just to be aware. So what I'm not going to use names just for privacy. So what that person just wrote down is that she has a lot of 14, 11, and 7. Somebody else just wrote down, I have a lot of 4, 14, and 7. And actually, I'm curious what 14 is. I got to look back here for a quick sec here. But what I want you to see, okay, that makes sense. What I want you to see is there's no right or wrong. Now, something I kind of alluded to. By the time you're 15 to 20, these are the dominant ones. And this is the deal. If you do no personal work, and y'all are here, so you're here for personal work. If you don't do personal work on yourself, the emotions you have dominantly by the time you're 15 to 20 will actually run the rest of your life. Okay? It's why most people's lives are the same as their parents, because their neural pathways in their 15 to 20 are pretty identical to their parents, because that was your, or whoever raised you. Okay? And whatever reaction you had to them. So if you want to change your life, you have to start to build other neural pathways. And I will tell you, every single one of those emotions I had on the list a minute ago, y'all have access to. Every single one of you. They're just not practiced. Okay? And the more you practice them, the easier it gets. But if you don't build them, then what will happen is, I know a lot of people have the emotion of worry or anxiety or anger. Then that goes into your body. It creates an illness, and or it creates money issues, relationship issues, health issues, issues with kids, whatever. But you don't want to spend your entire life in those emotions. Again, you'll hear me 1,000 times.